As we discuss, a gunman opened fire in a suburban Dallas mall on Saturday, killing at least 8 and making the event the third mass violence event in Texas in the last 10 days. Unbelievable, friends. We need to be praying for our friends there in Texas. The left, on the other hand, again, is trying to blame the instruments of death. So they're going after the guns. But as Christians, we know that evil exists in our world. We know that there is a remedy for our nation, and that remedy is not going to be found simply in gun control. We've got to go to the heart of the issue, which is the heart of mankind which is turned away from the Lord. Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is U.S. Representative Tim Burchett. He serves on the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, also the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. He represents the 2nd Congressional District of Tennessee. Congressman Burchett, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Always good to see you. All right, listen, we've got a spirit of violence that is just running rampant, lawlessness running across our country. Give me your initial reflections on what's going on.
Well, when the last shooting, the one that occurred in Tennessee, I stepped off the House floor and I was interviewed, and I said, this country needs revival. And of course, I was mocked by the national media and across the country and maybe across the globe. I don't know, but I still stand by that. There is incredible evil in this world. And, you know, we kicked God out of public places, and it's just, we're sick at our soul. Preachers aren't preaching the gospel anymore. And really, I mean, we've got to break down the family unit. We're trying to treat everything with a chemical. And we really, I think we need to get back to something you alluded to earlier in your introduction. We need to get back to the basics, and that is the gospel. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the national media's agenda right now.
No, it's not. And frankly, it never has been. It never will be. But we have got to lead the way in this, and I'm so grateful for you, Tim, because you have definitely been leading the charge on this issue and the call to return to God in prayer and repentance and so forth. But while you're doing that, and I want to get to that in just a moment, but at the same time, we are watching a continual effort by the left to distract from what you and I know to be the heart of the issue. Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez, for example, a Democrat, is putting the blame on Texas Republicans, like his own Governor Abbott. In fact, here's what he had to say on CNN's State of the Union. I want to play this and get your reaction.
It's just a sad state of affairs that we're living in. This is not the Texas miracle that Greg Abbott likes to call it. We're living in a Texas nightmare, and it's a nightmare that they created. It's the chaos that they created.
So they created it. I'm assuming here he's talking about Republicans. Congressman, guns have been around for hundreds of years. They've been around for hundreds of years here in America. It's just now that we're seeing a change, a surge of violence. So it's not the guns. They've been around forever. Give me your reaction to that.
Well, it's an easy scapegoat. You know, they're blaming it on us. As you remember, when you left us in Congress, the Democrats had the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Yet they apparently that was not the issue back then, and now it is. And the press, like the lapdogs that they are, the legacy media, if you will, has decided that we are in fact the enemy, and they couldn't be any further from the truth. If you remember, we tried to pass a bill. I know Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee had a bill that was going to put the funds so that we would put officers in the schools. We do that pretty much in Tennessee, but they blocked it. And basically, and the president, I think his direct quote was, "We're coming after the guns." And that's their issue. And it's an election year coming up on a presidential election. They have a weak candidate, and that's what they're going to go for. And it's symbolism. It's what sells. and it's hard to even get your story out. And we lose. I'm not. These murders are just horrible, and that's what they are. They are murders. We lose 100 people a day in automobile accidents. Every 39 minutes, we lose somebody to a drunk driver. Yet nobody's wanting to take alcohol or cars away from people. And so it's to me that it's pretty telling about what's going on, and the Democrats use symbols very well.
Well, you bring up a really good point. And by the way, it's somewhere, depending on the statistics you're looking at, but as many as 3,000 a day we are seeing lost in the womb to abortion.
Yeah.
But you bring up a great point about, while the left continues to go after the instruments, primarily guns, as the problem, as we saw in Brownsville just over the weekend as well. A man with murder in his heart uses his vehicle to attack others. No cries to eliminate, do away with SUVs, right?
No. And too, I think that focuses too on our mental health situation in this country. We have somehow we've developed this crisis, and you said it earlier. All of a sudden we've had these firearms in possession. Granted, they always want to say the AR or AR type, and they don't even know what AR stands for, and they don't know what an AR type is. And if you remember, the Justice Department outlawed sales or whatever of so-called assault weapons, and they really couldn't get a good definition of that. But we didn't see any statistical change pretty much during that time, and the Justice Department came to and basically said it's not reducing death. And I go back to Timothy McVeigh, what a horrible human he was, and he blew up people in the Murray down in Oklahoma, the Murray Federal Building, and he used ammonium nitrate and diesel fuel. And they tried to regulate ammonium nitrate, which is just a fertilizer made from nitrogen. You can buy it at any outlet store or anywhere without a permit or anything. Yet he used that. And so you're right. Murder is evil is in their heart, and they play that down. It's just to me, it's just mind-boggling that they're allowed to get by with that line of thought. But the reality is, they're going to yell at you in the media, and they're going to shout you down, and they're I'm afraid we're going to see more of this.
Yeah, and something you brought up, in fact, I want to play another clip 9, if we can pull this up. Here's your colleague, Henry Cuellar, was on Fox News Sunday, and here's what he had to say.
And if people talk about just, making the law stricter, you got to look at, in states that are blue, very strict laws, you still get this type of mass shooting. So it does happen across the nation, and we have to get to the bottom of this.
There you go. I mean, I don't know if he's intentionally getting there or not, but he is getting to the issue. We have got to get to the bottom of the problem, which is not guns. We have a spiritual problem in this country. Rather than putting a Band-Aid on a bunch of symptoms, how can we address the issues of our nation, the root of the spirit of lawlessness, if we can put it that way? How do we address this?
Well, I think if you look at murders in general, and you could probably draw some statistical inference there as well. We've talked about people under psychiatric care and things like that, and taking certain medications. Yet every time you bring that up, you're called a conspiracy theorist. And frankly, we're seeing that. You've seen those numbers as well as I have. So I think if we could just tone down the rhetoric a little bit and start talking about the facts and who are these people, why are they doing it, and in fact, how are they able to get handguns or guns? In Chicago, we lose, it's already lost over, I think, 2,000 shootings this year, and nobody's bringing up Chicago, and that's all with handguns. And so I just think that there's a lot of numbers being thrown around, and they're not accurate. It's a horrible, horrible situation. Nobody should be put in that situation. And these people are criminals and murderers, but they broke the law. And there's over 20,000 gun laws on the books. You take state, federal, and local already. And I don't know that we're making a dent in it. We're talking about the human condition in the hearts of these people. And that's really what we're at.
Congressman, we're going to have to leave it there. Got to go. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you so much for joining us.